Alonzo Payne had put out a message 2 years ago saying that he wanted to be the DA for the San Luis Valley because he didn't want poverty to be criminalized. That was a big campaign promise. He didn't want poverty to be criminalized. He also talked about bail reform, but he was also talking about how he was going to be accessible and he was going to be fair. And so I don't know if this is about Robert Willett, but he kept saying that you got these carpet-bagging bureaucrats from the Front Range. Alonzo Payne's here from the Valley. He's a local. He's got 6 generations deep. He goes back 6 generations. And so he says he's tired of poverty being criminalized. So if there is a charge against you, it doesn't matter how much money is in your bank account. That's what he said 2 years ago. And so, a lot of things has happened since then. There was an interview where they found a dead body or a dead corpse they had a month and they were just kind of sitting around a dead corpse or something. I just watched a news. There was some animal cruelty cases, disgusting animal cruelty cases. You had this horse that was broken, this dog that was nearly ripped in half, and, some other things. He ignored felony animal cruelty. My God, if you could do that to, an innocent animal, that's Jeffrey Dahmer shit, right? He started out with the cats and then moved to humans. So if you could do that to the most vulnerable of us, you probably would do it to anybody. They called him Let Him Go Alonzo. Let Him Go Alonzo. Making it sound like he was just all merciful. All merciful. Every time I talked to him, when I called him up before the campaign, before he won his election, he said he would have, done an interview with me, but he also said that, that he's a prosecutor. So basically he's letting me know that he may need to prosecute me one day. But that was the first thing out of his damn mouth, It's like, I fucking know, motherfucker. I want a strong criminal code. Because fuck criminals. Fuck criminals. But apparently Alonzo Payne didn't respect victims' rights. He let the criminals get away with their shit. And it's not just Alonzo Payne. It's the whole system. If any crime had happened around here, I would suggest to you is Troy or Kevin Zinn or Kenny Capin or, Robert something, Bernini, Jinx, Hiram Richardson, Nick, Phil Greeny, one of these, Nick number 1 on the right or the left-hand side. Those rat bastard motherfuckers, they're goddamn wicked as shit. Somebody murdered Tecumseh. Somebody murdered my puppy. So if any crime happened around here, I would assume it was one of them, but the entire goddamn system. I don't even know if Alonzo Payne had got, wind of all of it, but he heard about some of it. And I wonder if anybody ever goes to, the judges or the DAs or the cops, if they ever go to bed and they say, holy shit, somebody's fucking with, dude, that's what happened in Pueblo. She went to the courts, she got a restraining order, and the criminal ignored it, and she kept, she was getting stalked until eventually she was shot dead. She told the system what was up, and the system failed her. The system failed me. The system failed me over and over again. So it's interesting that Mr. fucking Merciful, I never saw his merciful side whatsoever. He seemed gentle, ish, but insecure. Gentle-ish, but insecure. And then I guess victims' rights means you have to, take somebody to the hilt for something dumb and petty, and that resulted in no injuries. So, yeah, if a crime happened around here, I'd assume it was one of them. Jinx, Hiram, Nick number 1, Phil Greeny, Troy, Kevin Zinn, Kenny Capin, Robert Pickerel, Robert Bernini, some other people. I would assume it's coming out of the southwest Costilla County there by the Labatter Bridge. Them motherfuckers are criminal as shit. Motherfuckers probably never knew a moral, never knew a virtue. In a republic, we need leaders who are virtuous, and we need people, citizens who are virtuous. And a DA, it's okay that you're a prosecutor. What I wanted from the DA isn't, don't just be a rubber stamper for the cops. Don't just rubber stamp the cops and don't, prosecute poverty. Absolutely. Do find objective truth. Do look for the objective reality. And then let the objective truth pave the road to justice. And make sure justice is the ends. Because if you don't have justice as your ends, and you're not using the objective truth, who is? And where do you go to get justice? And we're just supposed to live in unjust, unfair, oppressive conditions? The system, the judges, and the cops. It's not just the DA. It's the entire goddamn system. The judges can prosecute. They can get a special prosecutor. They can ask Alonzo Payne back in the court, and they can ask, there's laws, there's a bunch of ways to file charges. And if you can't get the DA to file charges, then you can sue him. And then you could go through the victim's rights statute. And you could go through the governor. And you could do a recall election. But Alonzo Payne had, he could have fault for himself for some reason. He didn't. How disappointing. How stupid. He had power. And now he's just going to give it up. How's that going to help anybody? That's not going to help anybody. If anything, Alonzo Payne, you had a learning curve. You just been in there for a year or two. Evolve. Change. Promise 10 things. We're going to do 10 things differently. I'm going to win the public back. But let him go, Alonzo. It's not just him. It's not just him. The criminal culture goes from the top to the bottom. Like I said, somebody killed Tecumseh. Somebody killed my puppy. June 1st, 2020. It was malicious. It was scary. It was sick. It was psychotic. And everybody around Seminole Trail and Delaware Trail, they all know something. The cops know something. Nobody's told me anything. Who the hell killed my puppy? Does anybody go to sleep and say, Jesus Christ, somebody killed his puppy and we all know? We're not even going to say nothing to him. Why would you not say shit? Here, let me tell you what truth and justice and righteousness says. So if I'm the DA and somebody murdered somebody else's puppy, well, I'm going to charge that person who murdered that person's puppy with a crime, and you're going to come into court and you're going to explain, what the hell happened, or we're going to have a trial. And it better be, to my liking, or else you're going to get sentenced with, fines or jail time. Let him go, Alonzo. It wasn't just Alonzo Payne. It was the judges. It was the cops. It was the clerks. The 12th Judicial Branch, the 911 operators. The sheriff of Costilla County. Who's the sheriff of Costilla County? Danny Sanchez. Noble Havens was there on the scene. Hey, Noble Havens, how come you didn't tell me who the fuck killed my dog? What the fuck is the matter with you, you piece of shit? Not only should you have arrested that person, but you should have let me know who the fuck did it. And what? Was he drunk? Was he drunk as shit? Because my dog's not dangerous. I had a nice dog. My dog was good. So it's crazy that Alonzo Payne would, it's the whole damn system. So we shouldn't just recall the DA. And hopefully the Attorney General, I'm hopeful with the Attorney General coming in running things. But we don't need a draconian. We don't need an authoritarian. We don't need to get Robert Willett back in there. There was some talk about bringing him, and a lot of this was reactionary, so it wasn't even. But Democrats do have a problem with saying that crime is bullshit. And criminals are scary, aren't they? These lawyers go to law school. They're not, bodybuilders. They're not bouncers. They're not cops. They don't have to kick anybody's ass. They have to just pursue justice rigorously. Pursue the truth so you can pursue justice. Without the truth, you got to know the truth in order to... But you got to have both truth and justice as virtues. Those are like the two most important virtues in the judicial branch. Now, the damn Democrats, we'll see how, Jared Polis is basically my last... The only reason I'm still a Democrat is because of Jared Polis. I'm not Phil Weiser. He's the Attorney General. I'm not, I'm lukewarm on Phil Weiser. But if he's friends with Jared Polis, then... But I can't stand the Democrats so far. Motherfucker, I've been a Democrat for 4 years, and Democrats are so small and tiny. They're so small and fucking tiny. They hate progressives. Democrats hate progressives. a true blue progressive who actually gives a damn about the people, who truly wants change and wants the conditions of the people to change, that scares a Democrat, because Democrats are a bunch of hollowed out husk of nothingness, a bunch of right-wing conservative fucks. Republicans are just straight up trash, straight up, right? But Democrats pretend to be better, right? He was going to be more fair, and he was going to make sure that poverty wasn't being prosecuted. But you got to be a man of virtue. You got to be a man of virtue. You got to hold justice and truth as virtues. A man of virtue mocks the vile and wicked. A man with courage makes the majority. Montesquieu said that in a republic, we have to have virtue in a republic. We are choosing our leaders from our people. So our citizenship need to be virtuous, so our leadership can be virtuous. Our leadership directly reflects our citizenry. And without virtue, the republic dies. So you think that America is all about virtues? That's all we talk about is virtues. My God, you can't get an American to shut the fuck up about all the virtues that they have. If you ever want to talk about virtues, I will. That's, my goodness, there's how you get into my heart. Just talk to me about virtues all night long. I will talk to you about virtue. But Montesquieu, that's the three branches of government. America says, no more tyranny, three branches of government. The entire world's constitutions have three branches of government because America did it. And why did America do it? Because of Montesquieu. So Montesquieu knows a thing or two. We got three branches of government all throughout the fucking world because of this Baron de Montesquieu. This situation is so stupid because he just gave up power. Alonzo, let him go, Alonzo. Again, it's not just him. It was the judges, it's the cops. It was the whole goddamn system. Basically, the people, there's, the ideal versus the reality. There's some people that think they're above the law, and then they stay off to the side over here, and then they kind of try to point at everybody else. But you're not allowed to break the law. You're not allowed to rob, rape, steal, hit. You can't break the law. The rule of law says nobody can break the law. So if there's a group of people that's either above the law or pretends that they're above the law, well, they don't understand a republic at all. Now, do they? This is real stupid. It's dumb politics, but it reminds me of a sheriff of Conejos County actually a few years back, 2018. Now, the guy's going to die, a year later, but I had thought that perhaps Howard Galvez Jr., he resigned. So the sheriff of Conejos County in 2018 had resigned. And I had read that he wasn't getting respect. And that was, the main reason. He just wasn't getting respect. And so he, the county commissioners had pushed him out. Nicholas Sarmiento, who is still the county attorney for both Castillo and Conejos County. If there is the most powerful man of Conejos and Castillo, would be Nicholas Sarmiento, because he's the county attorney for both of the county commissioners of Conejos and Castillo County. He said a replacement would be named after consultation with the county sheriffs of Colorado. Approval of a list of qualifications are needed. So basically they got rid of the sheriff because they want to keep some of the deputies or something. I don't know exactly what the hell happened. He got a severance package of, $30-something thousand. He got, $29,500. So he got, about $30,000 to just walk away. But why did he do that? He's going to die a year later. So maybe, he, had health problems that nobody knew about. But I was thinking it was the respect thing. Now, let's assume it was the respect thing. If it was a respect thing, if Howard Galvez Jr., was elected, appointed to the position, and he did his best and, say somebody punked him out or something happened, and basically he's like, I'm not getting my respect, so it pissed him off and he just resigns. How does that help? That doesn't, before you had some power, now you have no power. You had some power to do something about your situation. Now you got the power of a citizen. You can vote once a year or twice in 2 years, or not at all. If you're a Democrat in Conejos County, they don't believe in democracy. And so that's a terrible decision. Just because the Alamosa City Council was against Alonzo, why did he resign? The sheriff should have rose to the moment. He should have evolved. He should have rose to the occasion, rose to the moment. He should have revamped, retooled, and evolved. Alonzo Payne just got in there. He would have gotten a learning curve. I bet you he would have got reelected. The recall efforts still haven't found a replacement yet, so we've chucked out the DA. We're going to get the Attorney General in here. What if the reactionaries don't like how the Attorney General's running things? Also, this is blowback. The Dems are headed for a My Lai massacre in November. So maybe this could be a bloodletting. Maybe this could atone for the Democrats. You took out a Bernie Sanders progressive DA. You got him to fucking resign. I got mixed feelings about it because he was a bastard to me. He didn't show no fucking mercy to me. Sweetheart deals? Where the fuck are these sweetheart fucking deals at? And when I called him for the interview, immediately he's talking about he's a prosecutor, so he's got to go around prosecuting. I know that, motherfucker. Do you believe freedoms are laws? The right to speak, the right to assemble, the right to bear arms in defense of home, person, and property. Do you believe that the freedoms, the Bill of Rights in Colorado's Constitution are laws? Because if you believe freedoms are laws, there was that clusterfuck with the James Marshall case. What the hell was that? He's protesting. The truck tries to lunge into him. He shoots him in the back of the head. That's abuse of a corpse. I had a list of 10 reasons why Alamosa City Council should be recalled because I'm like, well, shit. I didn't get Bernie Sanders to be my president, so I guess Alonzo Payne is going to be the only Bernie Sanders style politician that I'll ever have in my jurisdiction of life. So I recognize Alonzo Payne's importance. He was bigger than himself. He's bigger than his chair. But Alonzo Payne wants to fuck me over a couple of warning shots. He wants to rubber stamp a, cop's incorrect decision. And why did I fire a couple warning shots? Well, the guy, Kelly Canty, is just being an asshole. Some sort of misdemeanor harassment sort of asshole, but still a criminal. He's driving by my house. He's jerking his steering wheel towards me and my dogs. This is what Kelly Canty did. I told him to get the hell out of here, and he's acting like he's going to drive on over up to me. What, is he going to run me over? You're going to run my dogs over? What you doing by my house? Why are you acting a fool? Why are you acting like a damn hooligan? You're jerking your steering wheel towards me. You slowed down, and you're laughing. You're laughing hysterically. This is funny to you. And then I'm supposed to pretend that, a couple warning shots to a hooligan, a misdemeanor. Look, Mr. Misdemeanor Man, Mr. Misdemeanor. I don't have police protection, and there's criminals around here, including Robert Pickrell. You're delivering some sort of thing to Robert Pickrell. Did he tell you to... Anyways, he's slowing down his loud, obnoxious, oily, and old big rig. I'm, 600 feet back. He's on the road. He's trying to provoke me and my dogs on purpose. He's delivering a package to Robert Pickrell, who didn't give a shit about any of the fucking laws of Colorado. And I don't think he lives there anymore. But goddamn, that package was important that day. So it's weird that Alonzo Payne would fuck over his biggest supporters, but love his enemies. Alonzo Payne, why did you love your enemies so much and fuck over your biggest supporters? Alonzo Payne should have evolved, and so should that sheriff have, if it was about respect. So, R.I.P. to Howard Galvez Jr. He died 1 year later, so I bet you he had health problems. That's probably what was going on. He had health problems, but if he's, old and feeble and he's dying, well then, that could affect why a person, you have to arrest the people, right? No matter how big they are. So you'll probably need a big, strong person in there, or at least a deputy or two that's, big and strong. So you need somebody who's pretty vibrant and sinewy. So the Democrats are headed for a My Lai massacre in November. They're headed for a bloodbath. It's going to be bad for the Democrats. So I think that the sheriff and Alonzo Payne could have evolved. They could have evolved. So, yeah, Mr. fucking Merciful wasn't merciful to everybody. So it seemed like he had just completely wildly inconsistent policies. Some people got mercy, other people didn't. And from what I understand, from what I've seen with my own eyes, is that there's criminals around here, and if the cops are friends with them, they won't charge them with shit. And then these lawyers and, judges, well, they're not big enough to go arresting people, so they need the cops to arrest people. So if the cops don't say shit, then the judges and the lawyers pretend that it didn't happen. And so there's other ways. Cops, you could get a warrant. The cops can, get more evidence. They can, my God, in the 2 years that I was, whoever killed Tecumseh, after my puppy was killed, I started getting harassed. It doesn't happen anymore, but it was happening almost for about 2 weeks. It was happening every goddamn day. So if a cop would have just sat at the corner of my property, he would have seen what was happening. But you would have had to give a shit. You'd have to give a shit. You'd want peace in the neighborhood. You'd have to want the objective truth, and you'd have to shoot for justice. But if you're a corrupt politician, well, you're going to protect your friends. You're going to protect your family. You're going to pretend that your little clique, your little class is above the law, and nobody can fuck with you while you sit there and exploit and fuck over everybody else. So I think this is so stupid. It's dumb. I'm very disappointed. Like I said, I got mad mixed feelings about it. He wanted to fuck me over, so sayonara, motherfucker. You want to fuck me over some dumb, stupid, petty shit? Motherfucker. Jesus Christ, you couldn't have lived in Costilla County in the years that I lived there. None of the judges, none of the cops, none of the they couldn't have done it. Not without police power, they couldn't have done it. No fucking way could they have done it. They got police power, and they still haven't done shit. They got all the state power in the world. And they haven't even told the person, if somebody murdered your dog, America, and I was the cop and I investigated and I found out who did it, I would go back and I would tell you. I would go back and I would tell you who did it. And what they said and what they said about it. And maybe ask another question or two. What I wouldn't do is go find out who did it and say, well, shit, that's the buddy, or that's a buddy of a buddy, so I'm going to protect the buddy because you're a corrupt rat. Where's the victim's rights? There was no respect. There was no fairness. There was no dignity. The incident report, the restorative justice practices, all of it. Where was the victim's rights at? The judges, the DA back then, Robert Willett didn't give a shit about victims' rights. So don't even try to tell me that carpetbagger bureaucrat gave a shit about victims' rights. Alonzo Payne was only in there for less than 2 years. Prominent Democrats like who? Ken Salazar? This is awful. A bunch of baited Democrats pushed out a baited Democrat. Democrats look so fucking baited. They're scared of progressives. Are you bending over to the fascists? Because if you're just a neoliberal piece of shit and you bend over to the fascists, then you're letting the Nazis run fucking wild. We need good people. We need good men in office. We need Ethan McCords. Not just to be Ethan McCord every once in a while, but to be Ethan McCord all the time. So, I'm very disappointed in Alonzo Payne. I believed in Alonzo Payne, and, but because of a court case, I was going to have to, look, this guy didn't even give a shit about victims. This guy he's on the side of criminals. He wrote a resignation letter to the governor. How come Alonzo Payne didn't have any fight in him? He was wanting to fuck me over time and time again, but I was, I'm not supposed to have any fight for myself? But the governor says, well, do you want an election or do you just want to quit? I quit. No election? Alonzo, you could have won the people back. I still kind of like you. I like what you were trying to do. That is bullshit. Have some carpetbagging bureaucrat from outside to, fuck over everybody. And then you're just sitting there like... So I saw a bit of his human side. He talked to me. He's a gentle man. But just after hearing just the hypocrisy, the inconsistency, everybody got all these sweetheart deals, so he's loving his enemies too much. And he's, basically letting the criminals go free, and he's not. We need a strong criminal code. Democrats, crime is bullshit. Criminals are bullshit. You got to respect the victims. You got to stand up for the victims. If somebody calls 911 and you don't know who they are, you can't assume that they're just fucking, a pathological, lying, crazy person, just some sort of Hollywood movie that got you in some sort of bushwhacking, sort of crazy, over-the-top situation. Quit watching all them damn movies. I didn't do any wrong, but, shit, you could have showed me some mercy. Now I got more work to do, but damn. So it turned out Alonzo Payne didn't understand morality or politics or law. You don't need to fuck over everybody to the hilt, but you also don't need to let everybody walk all over you. You don't need to be a rug, and you don't need to be a fucking Nazi. Balance. Alonzo Payne just needed to strike a balance. You had a learning curve. There's going to be growing pains, and there was a learning curve. Alonzo Payne, you probably would have got reelected, because who else is there? Why not have an election? We got an election anyways. They would have just added the name to the ballot. It wouldn't have cost anything. Why not weigh out the merits of his arguments? He wanted everybody else to go through a kind of process, but he's not going to go through a process. What a hypocrite. What a beta male. What a hypocrite. And how fucking disappointing. How so profoundly and utterly disappointing. Less than 2 years in office. Prominent Democrats like who? Ken Salazar. There's no Democrats in the fucking valley. You suck as a Democrat. You need to get Democrats in every county in the valley to run for every position in the county. You have all these Democrats around here, but the leadership is dropping the ball, and they're not letting people that want to run. They're not even letting people that want to vote. So let alone the people that want to run, they're not letting them run either. You should have vibrant caucuses, which is encouraging people. And if you're not finding goddamn smart progressives that already give a damn, if you can't win over smart progressives who already give a damn, I bet you're not converting or evolving or changing shit around here. So if the prominent Democrats did push Alonzo Payne out, that was stupid. That was dumb. You got somebody better in mind, motherfucker? These are a bunch of Joe Biden conservative fuckers, and they think they're so smart. Oh, I'm a conservative Democrat. Oh, how tricky, huh? Well, then I'm a progressive Republican. What do you think about that? We hardly knew ye, Alonzo Payne. But sayonara. You want to quit on us? Sayonara, motherfucker. We hardly knew ye. Maybe next time? I don't know. But if there is a next time, don't fuck over your supporters. Why would you fuck over you're my biggest supporter? Good. I don't have to respect this one. What? That should mean you respect more. That would mean more respect, right? Oh, you believe in me? You believe in my message? You think that poverty shouldn't be But he wants to embrace his enemies, love his enemies, let his enemies go. And now who knows where this is going to go. The genie's out of the bottle. So, like I said, it was the whole system. The whole system doesn't respect victims' rights. I'll say this on Alonzo's behalf. He loved his enemies too much and he fucked over his biggest supporters. But, you know who else loved their enemies? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ said that you have to love your enemies. Turn the other cheek, love your enemies. But that is a high standard. Jesus Christ is a very high standard. So, that's, on his behalf, he was being kind of like Jesus. But you loved your enemies too much there, Jesus Christ. You loved your enemies too much. Maybe try to love your supporters next time, Jesus Christ, okay? Try to love your supporters next time, Jesus. Okay? Okay.